We are live. What's going on, guys? Good evening. Monday night, guys. You know Monday is my favorite day of the week. Here we go. Are we about to see Bitcoin roll over even further? Kind of looks like the answer is yes. But we're going to look at it, guys, and we're going to look at a lot more. So let's get going here, man. Let's get going. How the heck are you guys tonight? Let me move my microphone closer so you can hear my songbird angelic type voice. How's that for you, right? How is that for you? All right, so what's going on out there? Crypto bubbles, BCH not looking great, down 10%. I'd like to see Hyperliquid continue its way down. Let's get down to like a $4 billion market cap. I would absolutely love that. I would love that. World Liberty Financial, Pippin doing its thing again, defying the laws of gravity. You absolutely love to see that if you are a Pippin holder, guys. Pippin has been melting faces over up almost 3,000% on the year, up 88% on the month. Absolutely super fantastic. So yes, let's get going here. Let's get going. See what's going on in the chat. Rodney, what's happening, my guy? Let's get this. Let's get it red here, right? Let's get it red. There we go. For the past year, Bitcoin seems to crash several times every month. Starting to get used to it. Amen to that, man. Amen to that. Pete, what's up, man? Lurking while I'm working. There you go. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for popping in while you're at work. Appreciate the support. Gotta keep that dry powder flowing in. Amen to that, man. Isaac, my dude. What's up, buddy? What's up, Rob? If it takes me all year to build up my blue chip bags, would that be a problem? No, it would not, my friend. Believe me when I tell you, you have time. We haven't even bottomed yet, so you have time. Take advantage of the opportunity. Rightly divided in the house. What's going on, man? Choosy beggar. I love it. It gives me, guys, for some reason, it gives me your ats now instead of your handles. With everything going on, with everything going to bear market lows so quickly, do you think we will still have enough time to accumulate? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think we're going to spend the most part of 2026 in accumulation mode, right? That's what I think. So, dude, I had off work. I think you mean got off work and have 8 videos to catch up when you're killing it with the content. Yeah, and I kind of feel like you have no idea, Isaac. In the last like 4 days, Rue, Max, and I have put out like 10 videos we've recorded for our channel, which is called Coin Vault, right? We are launching a new channel called Coin Vault, the 3 of us. And we've recorded like 10 videos in the last 4 days, like 45-minute videos doing deep dive research. So it's going to be super fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of those guys, let me see if either one of them is around right now. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Let's see if they're around. What else do we got in the meantime? It's me, Mario. Good morning, Senor Rob. Good evening, future family. There is another Rodney Smith in the house. There you go. 2 of yous. There's 2 of yous. Dave, what's up, brother, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm just going to do something here. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just a second. If it works out, the stream could get a little spicier. So, thank you, Rob. Hey, no problem, brother. No problem. I got you covered. What's the better way? What's the better buy to ape in when Bitcoin bottoms between XRP and ETH? Well, if you're talking ROI, probably XRP, probably. But it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're talking return on investment, my bet would be XRP. Yeah. Ethereum's going to do well, but XRP will probably get you better return on investment. So it's a blue chip, low market cap, big things popping, little things stopping. All right, let's keep rolling. What's going on out there today, guys? Let's have a look. Yes, Jamie Dimon finally acquiescing to the crypto space. So we got Jamie Dimon says that the TradFi went full on chain. Jamie Dimon says blockchain is better than the current banking system. He said it, Mr. Anti-Crypto himself.
Really exciting. And I was with Paul Atkins the other day, the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, who told me that financial services as an industry is moving further and further toward tokenization. Jamie, what can you tell us about tokenization? Is JP Morgan moving there as well? And how is financial services changing with regard to tokenization and digital assets?
Yeah, first I want to applaud the SEC commissioner for getting on top of this issue about why we have shrinking capital markets, public markets. So we've gone from 8,000 public companies in 1996 to 4,000 today. I'm not against private credit or anything like that, but a lot of things are moving out of the banking system. We got to look at what we did. We overdid it with rules, regulations, ISS and Glass Lewis, and it damaged some of the vibrancy of our capital markets. We still have the best in the world. And so now if you look at our capital markets, it's been adopting technology nonstop. I mean, for years, mainframes, processing, algorithms, of course, virtually nothing to process trades. We moved $16 trillion the other day. In one day, 16 trillion. It goes through our AML systems, our risk systems, sanction systems, fraud systems, OFAC systems. It's cheap, it's fast. So we've always been using technology to do a better job for the client. And we're going to do the same thing in tokenization. So tokenization, blockchain is real. It's been around for quite a while, but now it's becoming more effective, more efficient because people are finding ways to do it faster and cheaper, permissioned or not permissioned. Smart contracts, I think, will probably be real. We're working on stable coin and a JP Morgan. We have a JP Morgan deposit already. And think of it as a token, which is a deposit. We can pay interest on it. And as a payment system and a network, we're involved. If we can use things like that to do something better, faster, cheaper for clients, we're going to.
Mr. Bitcoin is a pet rock himself, promoting crypto on national television. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You cannot make this stuff up. All right, what else do we have? What's going on in the news? Check this out. Check this out. What's happening out there today? Watching from work, cranking out x-rays in between the crypto alpha. There you go. Get that dry powder, man. I dig it. LGTM fam, let's go. Brock, what's happening, man? What's going on, Rob? And what's going on, Zbeck family? There you go. Derek says, hey, Rob, if you had 1K to throw down on XRP or XLM, which would you pick? Probably, I mean, out of the two, XRP is my favorite, but I like XLM. I'd probably go XRP. But I'll tell you this much. Right now, I wouldn't drop $1,000 in XRP because I believe it's going lower. I would wait. That's just me, though. But if you wanted to buy some, I might throw $50 in here and there, right? But I think it's going lower, to be honest with you. So, all right, let's get into this piece. SEC taps Chainlink legal veteran as Grayscale builds a 5 million link position. The SEC hired a former Chainlink legal leader to help guide crypto policy while Grayscale builds a large link position behind the scenes. Lindman's role will focus on advising the agency on digital asset regulation, bringing direct experience from one of the blockchain industry's most widely used Oracle networks, which is Chainlink. According to data from Arkham Intelligence, Chainlink's price remained over 70% below last year's high, but Grayscale's link holdings increased past 5.25 million tokens in February this month. Before joining the team, Lindman served as a deputy general counsel at Chainlink's labs for 5 years. Due to his background, Lindman understands the roles of both crypto companies and regulators in creating guidelines for digital currencies. His experience with Oracle networks, smart contracts, regulators, and traditional financial groups makes him a good fit to replace Michael Selig, who now leads the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC. The SEC created its crypto task force after former chair Gary Gensler stepped down. Gensler said most crypto assets should be traded as assets and led the agency in enforcement actions and lawsuits against crypto companies. However, the SEC is now interested in clear guidelines and open talks with the industry. Task Force led Hester Pierce publicly welcomed Lindman and said she expects great things as the group works on laws and digital assets for digital assets. The team has already begun holding roundtable meetings with crypto companies and market players and studying tokenization, decentralized finance, and crypto market structures. This is amazing, guys, because under Gary Gensler's regime, these crypto companies could not even get a meeting with Gary Gensler to sit down and discuss the rules of the road. They could not get any clarity whatsoever. They would just continue to get Wells notices and intent, which is basically an intent to sue, or it's intent to file a lawsuit, right? So they continue to face this with Gary, and now we've gone from that to them getting roundtables with the SEC for so that the SEC can get their input, right? Get their opinions to help put in guardrails and rules of the road for everybody. What's a flip of fortunes for the crypto industry, in my opinion? Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm doing, brother. Nice. How about between Ondo and Link? That's a hard decision. I can't do it, man. I'm an and guy. I love both projects. I'm gonna hold both projects, right? So I can't do that. Max, my guy, my dude, my brother from another mother. Let's go, Rob. What's going on, everyone? He says. Max is in the house, my friends. Make sure you say what's up. Yes, there it is. What's up, Maximus? Welcome to the program, my guy, my dude. What else do we have? So Chainlink also appreciated Lindman's 5 years of service and said it looks forward to modernizing the U.S. financial system together. The company is gaining ground in both government circles and institutional finance, as it now has an inside man at the center of the U.S. regulations, and large investors keep building Link positions, including Moisano, if you speak Francais. Link Spot ETF also hasn't seen a single day of net outflows. Very interesting. So Chainlink's Spot ETF has not yet seen a single day of outflows. Very, very interesting. Another reason why, guys, everyone on the Patreon knows Big Rob's bullish on Chainlink. The reason is that Chainlink supports smart contracts, leading platforms, derivatives markets, and prediction systems. It also helps blockchains connect to prices, events, and external information by serving as a key infrastructure for decentralized finance. That real-world usage is growing. In fact, Chainlink has had 5-minute prediction markets on Polymarket since February. Well, since this month, really. Polymarket's trading volume recently surpassed $7 billion in a single month, a new record. As more people engage with those markets, Chainlink processes more in the background, which helps strengthen its long-term value and provides another incentive for people to remain involved. However, in the short term, things remain bumpy. Link is still struggling with significant selling pressure, and the overall crypto market remains in an extreme fear state, which gives me an opportunity to scoop it up by the truckloads. There's even talk that Link may be trade range bound for an extended period of time near its low. In past cycles, Link has taken more than 1 year to establish a bear market low, and that may happen again. Looking at the bigger picture, I'm hoping we can get Chainlink somewhere around $5-6. That would be phenomenal. I would absolutely continue to scoop up my Chainlink, guys. Very, very bullish on my Chainlink. Hopefully you guys are too. I believe, not financial advice, that Chainlink is a staple in any serious portfolio for this space. It's the glue that holds the space together, guys. Come on. Let's go over to Trump talk. Let's go over to Squawk Box. President Trump still has a lot of power to impose tariffs after the ruling. Let's get into it. Oh, I muted it.
Following the Supreme Court's decision
There we go.
President Trump announcing a global 15% tariff following the Supreme Court's decision to strike down his reciprocal tariffs. Joining us now, Nazak Nikaktar, who served as Commerce Assistant Secretary in the first Trump administration. She's now a partner at Wiley Law Firm's International Trade Practice, serves as chair of the firm's national security practice. It is always great to see you. Good morning, Nazak.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Can you do anything other than try to guesstimate the outcome that we're looking at here in terms of what we do now and what the administration does, which tariffs it employs from here on out?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I think everybody is looking at this guessing game. Obviously, we saw the president's frustration on Friday, but many of us also predicted, based on the oral arguments in November, the way that the justices were asking questions, the fact that they were focused on the text predominantly and less so on the foreign powers of the president, really led a lot of trade lawyers like myself to think that the IEEPA tariffs are going to be overruled. Anyway, the president's very upset. He does have, I do want to stress, he does have a lot of flexible legal authority. He's already imposed Section 122 balance of payments tariffs on the world. He has additional options. We've seen he already has Section 301 tariffs. Those are retaliatory tariffs against China that we imposed in the first administration. Section 232 tariffs, national security, steel, aluminum, autos, more coming, lumber, copper, more coming. And then Section 338, it's a dormant authority from the 1930s, the Tariff Act of the 1930s, but it allows the president to impose tariffs up to 50% for discriminatory behavior against the United States. All of that to say he does have a lot of power still to impose tariffs.
What's going to happen with, I know Justice Kavanaugh termed it, I think, a mess in terms of sorting out the refunds and how that will work. The lower courts are going to have to do it. If the lower courts don't do something amenable to the administration, doesn't it just moves once again up the court system? So nothing's going to happen for how long in terms of refunds?
I mean, importers are going to have to wait for a while. The court has to render a ruling about the disposition of the tariffs and the repayment. And then the administration has to set up a process. I mean, tariff refunds are part of what the government does in terms of trade disputes, right? Litigants can litigate tariff levels. The government sometimes often corrects it, and litigants get the tariff back. But this order of magnitude is unprecedented. So if the Court of International Trade, the court in New York, the lower court, quickly issues an opinion on how this should happen, the government still has to set up a process in the order of magnitude that it's never seen before. That said, importers are now going to be petitioning for tariff refunds and then on the other hand, paying these new Section 122 tariffs, and then looking ahead to see what other tariffs are they going to have to grapple with. It will be a little bit messy, but the president is trying to accomplish a lot of things, really focused on the massive $3.8 trillion debt the United States is in, and he's going to keep pulling levers to figure out what ultimately works.
Zach, would you think that countries will be emboldened at this point to, I guess you can't use that word anymore, but to back out on some of the trade deals that they've been coerced to enter into because of tariffs, or do they know another one's coming if they raise the ire of someone like President Trump?
Yeah, and speaking with countries, a lot of countries didn't think about the IEEPA's reversal, so they hadn't built in sort of an escape clause in their agreements. At the same time, the key negotiating leverage that the president has with these major trading partners, and we're talking about Europe, Japan, South Korea, India, those are really the Section 232 tariffs. Taiwan also, the new trade agreement, the 232 tariffs that are already in place for South Korea, Japan, Europe, and India, and then for Taiwan in particular, the forthcoming Section 232. in particular semiconductors. So the legal authority that the president so far seems to be rock solid on, those are the basis of the core basis of the negotiations. So the countries, I don't think any of them will try to back out.
Now, Zach, one of the things that I heard over the weekend from number in the folks in the political class is that to the extent that some of these foreign countries would want to renegotiate these deals, that there's a different form of leverage that the United States has. So, for example, Taiwan, which obviously needs us for its defense and all sorts of other things, that you're all of a sudden potentially from a leverage perspective, you might hear in the discussion sort of the role that the United States plays in defending some of these countries to try to prevent them from undoing some of these deals.
You're absolutely right. When the U.S. government handles these negotiations, certainly tariffs is part of the mix, but there's a lot of other components that are not part of the mix in terms of investments in the United States. Tariffs, there are foreign military sales. We have lots of tech side agreements. So there's a lot that goes into the mix. Pressure from the U.S. government still to open up their borders to U.S. goods. So tariffs are one leverage, but as you pointed out, we have a lot of other points of leverage.
Did the courts hurt the United States' position when it comes to global economics and leverage by canceling or weakening the perceived powers of the president, no matter who it is, moving forward with other countries? That would be an interesting story as it unfolds over the years, guys. What do we got? Breaking, continuing on that note, Donald Trump plans to introduce new national security tariffs following the Supreme Court ruling. Let me see what we got. Fridge says, hey, Max, guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Gain, what's going on, man? Enjoying the bear market could be life-changing opportunities. Exactly, man. Hit the nail right on the head, brother. Amen to that. U.S. President Donald Trump has raised the option of a new national security tariff after the United States Supreme Court last week overturned several of his previous tariffs. According to sources close to the White House, the administration is working on new tariffs that could cover 5 to 6 sectors. The new tariffs under consideration could cover large-scale batteries, cast iron and iron fittings, plastic piping systems, and industrial chemicals, and electrical grid and telecommunications equipment. That's right down Apple's alley, I believe, right? These tariffs are planned to be implemented under Section 232 of the 1962 Trade Expansion Act, which grants the president broad powers on national security grounds. The move comes just days after the Supreme Court, by a 6-3 vote, overturned most of Trump's reciprocal tariffs issues he based on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The court ruled that Trump has exceeded his authority by imposing these tariffs on nearly all U.S. trading partners. The overturned tariffs accounted for more than half of the increased tariffs. So, guys, listen, let's just pretend something I would ask you to access your imagination for a moment, okay? Let's pretend it's not Donald Trump that's imposing these tariffs. Let's pretend it's someone you're neutral about, right? Whether you like him or you hate him, let's pretend it's someone that you're neutral about when it comes to your feelings. Okay, it is true, and I'm not even American, I'm Canadian. It is true that most countries that the U.S. trades with for the longest time have had bigger tariffs on the U.S. than the U.S. has had on them. That's not fair at the end of the day. And I'm not even American, right? So at the end of the day, I think the only reason people have a problem with the plan of making tariffs fair across the board instead of countries gouging the United States on trade is because it's Trump that's doing it, right? I mean, there's not really an argument against it on the other side, right? I mean, he's trying to make fair trade for the U.S. I'm not even American, and I get it, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to trade with someone who was taxing you more than you were taxing them, right? It's not fair. So anyway, just food for thought, right? I took some profits on Triple V, now waiting for it to crush so I can rebuy. Nice. Cheaper otherwise, put it in the other coins. There you go. A man with a plan. I dig it, man. I dig it. So the new Section 232 tariffs will be implemented separately from the previously announced 15% global tariff and other tariffs planned under Section 301. Products under Section 232 have so far been exempt from the tariffs announced during Trump's second term. Trump had also imposed tariffs under this section on steel, aluminum, copper, automobiles, trucks, and I think trucks would probably fall under automobiles, but I digress, and automobile parts during his second term. These tariffs were not affected by the Supreme Court ruling. However, it is not yet clear when the new taxes under Section 232 will be formally subject to investigation and when they will ultimately come into effect. This section requires a thorough review process before the tax is implemented. However, once the customs duties are in effect, they can be unilaterally changed by the president. White House spokesman Kush said in a statement, "Protecting America's national and economic security remains President Trump's top priority. The administration is committed to using all lawful powers to achieve this goal." On the other hand, the Trump administration is reportedly considering tariffs under existing Chapter 232 investigations in 9 different sectors, including semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, drones, industrial robots, and polysilicon used in solar panels. Some of these investigations were launched about a year ago, and it is stated that the process could be accelerated following the Supreme Court's decision. Very interesting. I knew he was going to find a workaround. You knew it as well. So we will see what happens. The court took so long for the verdict. It's like they want to mess up midterms. Oh, exactly. I don't disagree with you at all on that. I don't disagree at all. Yeah, everything going into this year, everything is strategic. Make no mistake about it, guys. We are going into the midterms. Everything political is going to be strategic from this point forward. There's no truth that's going to be told by any politician for the next 10 months or so. Let's keep rolling. Tokenized US Treasury debt on the XRPL nears $300 million. Tokenized US Treasury's debt on the XRP ledger is approaching the $300 million mark, highlighting the growing role of RWAs on the network. According to the latest data, US Treasury debt hosted on the XRP ledger currently stands at approximately $299.9 million, accounting for around 34% of the total distributed RWAs value on the ledger. The chart shows U.S. Treasury debt as one of the largest non-stablecoin asset classes on the XRPL, second only to stablecoins in total value. Kapow! There you go, 299.9 milli for you. With Treasury products marking up roughly 1/3 of distributed RWAs, government debt has become a core pillar of the XRPL's tokenized asset system. Ondo leads Treasury issuance. Ondo accounts for the majority of tokenized U.S. Treasury exposure on the XRP ledger, with its short-term U.S. government bond product playing a dominant role. You see how all of these big companies are connected, guys? Notably, Ondo's Treasury product has increased by approximately 120 million on the XRP ledger so far this year, signaling sustained inflows into tokenized government debt. Other contributors, including Open Eden and Guggenheim, which also maintain Treasury-related products on the ledger. So very big things happening with the XRP ledger, Ondo, and Ripple. You love to see that, guys. You love to see that. But let's keep rolling. We got another piece to get into. What do we got? Are Bitcoin ETFs accumulating or not selling? Key flow data. What's going on with the Bitcoin ETF? The spot Bitcoin ETFs are on track for a 4th consecutive month of net outflows. As Bitcoin approaches another negative monthly close in February, underscoring a demand lull for the regulated spot-linked exposure. Data through mid-February shows ETF holdings ebbing from a peak in late 2025, with total assets sitting around 84.3 billion on the day, down from an October 2025 high of 170 billion. So wow, lost about 90, close to $90 billion, give or take. The trajectory also reveals a slowdown in cumulative inflows, which have slipped to roughly 54 billion from a 63 billion all-time high since July of 2025. Net inflows have totaled about only 5 billion, highlighting a market shift in capital allocation to crypto-focused funds. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's price has slid more sharply than its ETF balances, suggesting the market is absorbing the selling pressure without affecting it. So the selling pressure from the ETFs is being countered by the buying pressure in the market, likely from the smart people who are buying, the retail who are buying at these prices, right? So very, very interesting. But it's funny because I remember about a year ago, you saw all the Bitcoin maxis saying Bitcoin would not see a bear market ever again because of spot Bitcoin ETFs and treasury companies. And yet here we are seeing mass exodus from spot Bitcoin ETFs, and it is in a bear market, right? This time is not different. So yeah, there's that. Let's keep rolling along. Let's go back over to Squawk Box because we got more on the dial, guys. We continue to be bullish on risk assets, says Invesco. What's he talking about? Oh, it's muted. Hey.
Global market strategy. Joining us right now is Brian Levitt. He is Invesco's chief global market strategist. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Brian, thoughts about the markets, but maybe thoughts about the implications of the tariff piece of this on the markets as we were trying to sort of wrestle with where this all heads and what it all means.
I don't think the Supreme Court announcement was a significant surprise. That was, in essence, where we thought we were heading on it. What becomes now, and you mentioned it in the first minutes, Andrew, is the uncertainty now on where we go and what that potentially means for business investment. But remember, we were down 20% on Liberation Day, peak to trough, and ended up in a positive year. So a significantly positive year. So for markets, it's the uncertainty creates some volatility, but ultimately, it'll get back down to fundamentals, and businesses will figure this out.
And when you say it gets so zero impact, a lift to the market. I mean, look, there's an argument to be made that if you think that tariffs aren't going to be here long term, or they're going to be at lower rates long term, that could actually be a benefit potentially to the markets. But there's other people on the other side that would say the tariffs were a good thing for the country.
I would view it as a positive for the markets. I mean, the reality, if you think about tariffs in the short term, they'll create a less optimal outcome. Now, there might be a reason for them. There's always going to be a cost, but there might be a reason for them. So when you think about it from a growth and inflation perspective, you'll end up with a less optimal outcome if you move away from free trade. Over the intermediate to longer term, that's a debate that was left to be played out depending on what type of investment we saw in the country and what type of return of jobs we may have seen in the country. But yeah, I would view it as a positive. Anytime you look, we still have a very high effective tariff rate compared to history. But if we start to see that move lower, that should be beneficial for prices. That should be beneficial for growth.
As you look ahead just for the week in terms of where we really are in the markets, we've had some earnings reports. Where are we? And what are you doing with your money?
Well, I think we're still very much in the same business cycle. You're not seeing, the cracks in the public credit market that you would expect. You don't see a Fed that needs to raise rates. So the cycle continues. In fact, what you have been seeing is leading into the indicators of the economy actually picking up in most places, not just the United States, Europe, UK, most of the emerging markets. So that's a positive. That's been guiding this this rotation trade where you're seeing smaller caps, where you're seeing value stocks perform well. What you've also seen now, everybody was so worried about the AI trade. You've seen valuations on a lot of tech companies, very high quality tech companies, come down. So I think we're in a good spot. We continue to be bullish on risk assets. I like the idea of diversifying, moving into mid cap, moving into some value, also moving into non-US as the dollar weakens here.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. They remain bullish. I remain bullish. I remain DCAing, baby. All right, fear and greed index. We were at 14 this morning. We've slipped back down to 11. So fear is starting to grip the markets once again. Bitcoin continues to try to work its way down. 64,100. Will 62,900 hold support? Or are we going to collapse below and head towards $58,000? That's what we're watching for, guys. What do we got here? We are still in neutral for the average crypto RSI as well, so we're not even oversold or anything like that. So it would make a lot of sense right now if we did work our way down towards that 62.9 level and see if it holds or not. But either way, guys, listen, I got to get out of here. Make sure you're getting over to the VIP community, guys. You get to have one-on-one coaching calls with me personally. We can sit down and get all your questions answered. And we are hunting down gems like nobody's business right now, guys. I'm excited about the new program we have over there where we are doing Patreon lives, altcoin requests, trying to find some great gems. Every couple of days we're doing that. And find out what my full portfolio looks like as I build it in real time over on the Patreon as well. Every single day I update my portfolio, what I bought, what I sold, what moon bags I created, and so much more. If you want to follow along and learn how to structure a portfolio properly throughout the cycle, now's the best time to do it, guys. Check it out. You get all that and so much more. Group coaching calls, one-on-one coaching calls. Our trading group has been just crushing it, man. So shout out to our leaders over there. You guys are just killing it. Congratulations, guys. Again, the link's in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.